Hey everybody, welcome back. You're looking at a bunch of transmission cases here. That one's new old stock. Just got this one out of the bead blast cabinet. It's a good used one. This is Joey's. That's in very bad shape. Remember, we've got the heavy wear up front there. This is an old reproduction case, and I've got a couple more I want to show you. You guys remember this one that Matt gave us for Mike's rebuild? It was a mess, but it measures up okay, and we'll talk more about measuring these. And I've got Hal's over here, and I've got a few more, but the measurements were coming right into place, so I think I have enough measurements to point you guys in the right direction. We're going to do some measuring on these cases. I'm going to show you a good case compared to a bad case, and we'll see what we come out with. So hang in there, we'll get some measuring instruments out and go for it. Okay guys, we're going to measure some cases here. I got this first new old stock case. I've got my long dial caliper in there. We are 7 inches 527. Okay, now we're going to zoom out. I got Maria help me with the camera today. We're going to try and show you guys what we're doing here. Just hang in there. We got a lot of focusing to do, and it's going to get a little tricky. You see the case? Mm-hmm. Okay, we're measuring from the back of the case. This is a machine surface back here. We're sending this guy all the way through to our thrust area for the thrust washer. Okay, and we're getting 7,527. Let's try another one here. This is a used case. Tricky getting it in there. That's 7 inches 525. Okay, now this is Joey's worn out case, and if you see inside there, can you see that worn area in there?
Not really.
Hang in there. Hang in there, everybody. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Trying to show you that worn out area in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that has been, the thrust washers have been beating into the case right there, and they absolutely wore it real bad. And we're going to measure this one now. Remember, we've been 7,527, 7,525. Okay, that one is 7. Let me know if you can see that.
No. Hang on there. Yep.
So that one is 7,556. Okay, that case is worn out. These are just some measurements you can do to see how badly worn your case is. Now I've measured all these another way as well. Okay, just with a micrometer, I'm measuring the thickness of the the thrust washer boss in the back and in the front. You see what I got going here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so on this case, this measures 0.428. In the front measures 482. On this new old stock case over here, we got a 1/1000th difference in the back thrust area. We got a measurement of 429, and in the front we're 1/1000th short as well. We're 481. Okay, now to show you how much Joey's case is worn, we're 463 on the front measurement, and we're 420 on the back measurement. So we lost a lot of material there, and what's going to happen is the counter gear is going to move back and forth, and it's going to cause you to jump out a second, and it's going to cause more wear, and pretty soon the transmission will be a mess. So those are 3 of them right there. They all, the first 2, new old stock and the good used one, are very close in dimensions. We're going to scoot around. We're going to take a look at a couple more of them. Okay, we're over here on that used case that Matt supplied us for that other project. Okay, and our dimension from the back of the case to the front thrust area is 7.524. Our back area measures 0.426. Our front area measures 0.482. You can see that the machine work they did on these is pretty close. The length of the case, the thickness of the bosses is pretty close. We got one more over here. Maybe we could just swing around, show this one. I'll let you know what we got on this one. Hey, this is Hal's. Okay, our depth on the transmission is 7.528. Not terrible, still pretty close. Our back dimension is 429. Our front dimension is 485. I think you guys can start to see they were pretty close, within thousandths. If you have, like on Joey's case there, if you have a big area in there, it's just not going to work out for you. So you could take 3 different dimensions. You could take the whole entire dimension like I showed you. You can measure the front. You can measure the rear. Just keep these numbers handy. I've made a lot of T90 videos, and this kind of information you're just not going to find out there. I've got dozens of cases here. I went through a bunch of them. They're all very consistent, except for the ones obviously that are worn. They had the bad lube in them or something, and it just wore out. Take your time, write some dimensions down. If you're doing a rebuild, check your case. Like I say, you're just not going to find this kind of information out there. So write it down and keep it handy, because you don't want to put a T90 together and have some more problems with it. Okay, guys, I'm going to give you some more critical dimensions if you're doing a rebuild. Now, what I have here are 2 new old stock cluster gears. These measure, I already measured them, 6 inches, 890. We're going to write that down. 6 inches, 890. Okay? Now, I've heard from a lot of guys saying they've taken new or new old stock cluster gears and they've tried to fit them in a case and they bind everything up. I can't stress enough to you guys to get good parts. Okay, now here's your 3 washers. You got your front washer, and you got your 2 rear washers. Okay, there are USA made kits. There's a lot of guys putting good parts out. Some guys prefer to buy junk, and you get into trouble. 62 thousandths, 1/16 of an inch. 62 thousandths. I'll write that down as well. 062. 062. Let's check this guy right here. 58 thousandths. Okay, when we add all that up, we're going to get our dimension of our cluster gear, our 2 washers back here, and our front washer. And we're going to see what that is. Okay, guys, let's do some math. We got 7 inches, 72 thousandths with our cluster gear and washers. You've seen me dimension a few cases. We're going to go with the smallest one, 7 inches, 525. And we'll go with the back thickness of the case, which was 429. So that gives us an inside dimension of 7 inches, 96 thousandths. we take away our cluster gear combined length, and we get 24 thousandths of clearance. And a lot of guys are emailing me and saying that they're trying to get their cluster gear in, and there's some guys that actually banged them in with a hammer. Okay, that's too tight. You're going to wear your case, and everything's going to wear out. You need a little bit of clearance, because obviously you got to pick it up and put the shaft through, but there has to be some clearance between the gear and the case, because you need an oil film. The oil is thick. If you have any more than 24 thousandths, you know, a few is okay, but like on that case I showed you that was Joey's, where we had, you know 40 and 50 thousandths bigger, that will cause this to move back and forth in the case, and that is going to pop you out of second gear. Again, a lot of guys are putting new synchronizers in, new second gears in, and they're still complaining that it's popping out of second gear. If this moves in the case too much, like that, fore and aft, it's going to pop out of second, and it's going to cause a whole lot of damage to your case and your thrust surfaces. It's going to wear your bearings out, and everything's going to be a mess. It seems to be there's a lot of bad parts out there. Don't necessarily go for the cheapest small parts kit you can find. There's plenty of good sources for parts, good high quality USA made stuff. You can still find new old stock cluster gears. There's a lot of good gears being made, but there's also a lot of junk. If you're gonna shop from the big suppliers who are carrying the Amex brand of parts, you could count on problems. Nothing but trouble from those. Eric brought me a counter shaft for his transmission rebuild, and it was from Amex, and it fell right through the case. It was not large enough. It wouldn't stay in the case. If anybody has any questions on gears or anything, just contact me directly. I could tell you where to get good stuff still. But don't be afraid to measure your case. And like I always say, if you're not measuring stuff, you're just guessing. If you don't have actual numbers, you're just guessing how big the case is, and that will do you no good. I don't know what else to say except, watch this video, write the numbers down. Like I say, this number here can be 525 to as much as 535. Anything over 535 on your case dimension, throw the case out and get another one. It's just going to lead to problems. This is a critical number for you guys to check out. It's easy to do with a dial caliper. Just go right in the back of the case. Every surface on that case is a machine surface, so you can measure from the front to back. Just keep all your numbers, in order. I think I gave you enough numbers: the thickness of the front of the case, the thickness of the back of the case, the dimensions inside. This is a good number to shoot for with your interior dimension. But just trying to put some information out there to stop all you guys from being disappointed after you get your transmission rebuilt. Okay, guys, I'm not putting this in permanently right now. I just want to show you what a cluster gear going into a case should be like. Now, you remember on our page we had plenty of clearance. Now that's going to change actual size, and when you start stacking washers and stuff, because they're not getting squeezed real tight, it's going to take up a lot of that play. So if you're thinking that we started with 20 thousandths or 24 thousandths of play, and it would just move back and forth, you'll see that when we just lightly put these washers in, how much it actually takes up, and the oil's going to fill in there, and it won't move at all. But I just want to show you, just because lately guys have been telling me they've taken rubber mallets to try and get it in. Now, I'm not putting any assembly lube or anything on here. I just got the 2 back washers on there. Well, just the back one. I got the case tilted so you can see. Not the best. Okay, we just got it laying down there. I'm going to take this back one and just slide it in. Just trying to show you how it should go in. Okay, now we got the front one. Okay, we're just going to put that in there. I'll try and stay out of the way of the camera. Okay, I'm just going to stand that up for a second, straighten out that front washer. Hang in there with me. Okay, we got the front washer in there. Can you see in there?
Yep.
Okay, now this, you can see it slides in and out by hand easy. There's a tiny bit of front to back movement, but when we get all our bearings in there, we get some assembly grease on the washers. That's not going to move, and when the correct transmission lube is in there, it's going to fill that space perfectly. But it should slide in and out like this. I hope you guys can see that. Okay, it should slide in and out like that. That's the correct clearance for a cluster gear. If you have to bang it in, you're doing something wrong, or you have bad parts. More than likely it's bad parts. There's a ton of overseas small parts kits that just don't hold the right tolerances. There are quite a few bad cluster gears out there at the moment. So you really got to be careful where you buy your parts. This is an original case that hasn't been damaged. That's a new old stock cluster gear, and we have an American made small parts kit. If you follow those things, it's going to slide in there very nice. And you can see how easy it just lifts out. Okay guys, I know we're beating the T90 stuff to death, but I think I need to put this information out there because I probably get 5, maybe 7 emails a week of guys telling me they're having trouble putting a T90 together, or they put it together and it's screaming, making noise and stuff. It's not super difficult to put a T90 together if you take your time and you're lucky enough to have a good case and you're smart enough to buy good parts. You should have an easy project. One thing I see a lot is guys go to eBay and they buy junk bearings. Use a good bearing. I use the Nachi brand because it's easy to get. I use a sealed front bearing and pull the back cap off so it can get plenty of lube. You can see just with this week's transmissions I have to do, I've got 3 brand new main shafts because they're going bad quite a bit. Locking rings, again, don't skimp on that. It's you know, maybe a $10 part. Don't skimp on that. I've got a pretty good source for high quality synchronizer assemblies. Second gears, there's a lot of counterfeit second gears out there now. Make sure you buy these from a reputable source. Input shafts, sometimes it seems like they're easy to get, but there's some of them out there where they're just, you know, even with a little 4-cylinder, they're actually twisting and breaking. Don't skimp on your input shaft. First gears, they always take a beating. Get a decent first gear. Same thing with the reverse idler and the reverse idler shafts. It seems like a simple part, the counter shaft. Like I said, the brand out there from Onyx, when I took that and put it in the case, it just slid right through the case and out the other side. They're not the right size. They're very soft. Your needle bearings are going to work right into those and beat up that shaft. It'll be, your transmission will be screaming in no time. I think I pretty much covered it and beat it to death the best I could. Check out your cases. If you need help finding parts, contact me. I'll put you onto some good sources. And don't think that you're going to rebuild it for $25. Like a lot of guys take a bunch of transmissions apart and they think they're going to take gears out of one or the other one and make a good one. Put some good parts in it. You only want to go in there one time, so don't skimp on the parts. And the final thing I can say is don't put 80-90 weight gear oil in these. It will absolutely eat up every bit of yellow metal in there. Your blocking rings, these will wear out extremely fast. Your thrust washers will wear out extremely fast, and then you'll start ruining your case, like the case with Joey's on the bench there. When I opened that up, somebody had filled that with white lithium grease right to the top. I have the correct lube. Contact me if you need it. I'm shipping it out daily. It's the only stuff I know of that's the right viscosity and will not attack yellow metal. So, if there's any questions, just shoot me a comment below. And everybody, good luck with your T90 rebuild and your transfer case rebuilds. Hopefully I covered enough to get you on the right path. So, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.